Live at 5. This is SNN, the Suncoast News Network, your local news leader.
Hello everyone, I'm Eric Wilson. Thanks for joining us here on the SNN Evening Edition. A Sarasota woman has a very rare disease that affects 1 in 20,000 people called acute intermittent porphyria. Patients experience attacks of debilitating pain. Nicole Castellano was in her early 20s when she started feeling symptoms. It took 12 years for her to receive a diagnosis, and her story is not unique. The average time it takes to diagnose porphyria is 15 years. Nicole now works for the American Porphyria Foundation, using her experience to help others.
Just educating primary care physicians, because that's usually the first place that people go before they go to a specialist. And if they can think to test for it, we can catch it sooner and not have this huge delay in diagnosis.
This week is Porphyria Awareness Week. If you would like to learn more, go to our website, snntv.com. At least 500,000 people in the U.S. have been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, according to the National Institute of Health. But that number is likely higher as many people go undiagnosed or are misdiagnosed. Early detection is critical since many therapies work best at first sign of the symptoms. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has more.
The signs can be subtle at first. Parkinson's disease is a progressive condition that typically isn't diagnosed until physical symptoms appear, like tremors and trouble balancing. But new lab tests may be changing that.
He is a game changer in Parkinson's disease, no question.
The new tests detect traces of a key protein that abnormally clumps in the brain of a person with Parkinson's disease. One test, SynTap, looks for seeds of the protein in spinal fluid. A large study by the Michael J. Fox Foundation found that overall the test correctly identified people with Parkinson's disease 88% of the time and correctly ruled it out 96% of the time.
Now, for the first time, we can measure this in life in people with Parkinson's disease, and also, perhaps even more importantly, people who may be at risk for Parkinson's disease but don't yet have the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
Dr. Ken Merrick says Parkinson's disease begins in the brain many years before symptoms start.
The real key here is that it offers the opportunity to develop treatments prior to the onset of symptoms so that we might ultimately be able to prevent the symptoms of Parkinson's disease.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Thank you, Mandy. The test joins another one called SYN1, which detects traces of protein in skin. In more news, the Village Idiot Cycling Club hosted their 10th annual Women on Wheels bike ride event. The ride had 2 different routes, and participants choose to ride 20, 40, or 62 miles. Proceeds from the event go towards the Sarasota-based charity that combats human trafficking, Sail of Freedom. The goal was to give back to the community and raise awareness about being cautious when passing cyclists on the road.
Back in 2011, my father and I were in a very bad car accident where a car struck us while we were riding our bikes going over 55 miles an hour, and I thought I could never ride my bike again. And I never really got back into riding until about 2015, and people would just come out from all over the world and just tell me how much I inspired them.
Since getting back on her bike, Coker has broken a total of 17 world records. Riders came from all over Florida and from out of state to attend this event. Here at SNN, we are officially dog people. So with that in mind, if you need a dog in your life, we have a solution. Pups and Pints will raise money and awareness for the Humane Society of Sarasota County. Plus,
it'll be indoors and outdoors, so come join us. Bring your pup, and maybe if you're in the market for a new pup, be open to that, and hopefully we'll get some dogs adopted.
The live music performance will be Brittany Zeef. If you bring your dog, you have to keep them outside with the vendors and live music. The event will be located at Mellow Mushroom, 6727 South Tamiami Trail. Things get rolling at 5 o'clock. And in Florida, an alligator attack has badly injured an elderly man. He lost his leg while he was at a nature and golf resort in Titusville on Friday. Lauren Cervantes has details.
The gator expert here tells me at a place like the Great Outdoors, where there's a lot of people and bodies of water, the worst thing someone can do is feed the alligators, because he says that allows them to feel like they can get closer and more comfortable to humans, providing potential for something to happen. A 72-year-old man lost his leg after an alligator bit him at an RV park in Titusville, according to Brevard County Fire Rescue. Fire officials tell News 6 the gator amputated the man's right leg below his knee and that he was airlifted to a trauma center.
And hopefully nobody was feeding this alligator in this RV park. But if that were the case, then that alligator has lost its fear of humans, and it's going to come closer. And whether you have the food or don't have the food that day, that could be the difference between, what might have happened.
Brandon Fisher is the gator expert at Gatorland and tells me alligators are more active right now as they are getting into breeding season. The attack happened at Great Outdoors RV Nature and Golf Resort, which has a number of bodies of water.
Any incident where you find yourself, in front of an alligator, you want to back up as quickly as you can. Don't ever turn your back on the animal, because once you turn your back, you don't know what's going on behind you, of course.
Fisher says while it's best to avoid getting close to a gator, if you find yourself in a situation where you've been grabbed, there are some things to know.
They have some sensitive spots on the body, some nerve endings. Right at the very tip of the nose is a bunch of nerve endings on the nostrils, but the head is all bone.
Fire officials could not say how the man is doing, and we still don't know the situation surrounding how he was grabbed. FWC tells us, though, they did remove 2 gators from the area, but it's unclear, they say, if one was the one who attacked the man.
Thank you, Lauren. We are checking in with our chief meteorologist, Justin Mosley, with your Weather Authority forecast.
All right, hi again, everybody. As we take a look at our local weather, skies are generally fair. We had a cold front come through, brought showers, thunderstorms, heavy amounts of rain during the early morning hours on our Monday, but it's well to the east and high pressure is building in and drier air is coming in as well. So looking at the computer models, our future track looks good for our Tuesday, second day of the work week. So we slowly get you through, lots of sunshine to enjoy. A few high clouds will come in from the Gulf of Mexico on Wednesday, but they're not going to bring any rain. That is out of the forecast over the next several days. So the dew points nice and low in the upper 40s to kickstart the day. It's going to remain low in the 50s. We really don't come out of the 50s through the middle part of the work week here. It's going to take until Friday. We start to bring back the humidity that we can actually sense out there across the area. So 56 to start off the day. Fair skies, breezy on the cool side. High temperatures making into the lower 80s. Pleasantly warm is a good way of putting it under a mostly sunny sky. We'll come back and look at our 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Justin. In more news, a Florida man is in custody accused of shooting and killing 2 women, his child's mother and grandmother. Treasurer Roberts reports.
Public Defender's Office to represent you, and you're going to be held on no bond.
20-year-old Radrick Francois is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder, accused of shooting 2 women to death, and is now at the Orange County Jail on no bond. The Orange County Sheriff's Office says shots were fired Friday around 11:30 in the morning on London Crest Drive at the Lake Sherwood Apartments. OCSO identified the 2 victims as 20-year-old Tanga Owens and her mother, 39-year-old Tanisha Starr. According to the arrest affidavit, surveillance cameras captured video that morning of both women arriving at the apartment complex. Investigators say Francois was talking to them outside of the car before firing inside the vehicle. Then the suspect grabbed he and Owens' 2-year-old daughter before running through the complex. Owens' 8-month-old son was left behind in a car seat. Seconds later, investigators say Owens' mother got out of the driver's seat and stumbled onto the ground. Deputies were already at the complex for a different investigation, so they blocked off all exits. The report says Francois' mom told investigators there was an ongoing custody battle between Francois and the mother of his child, and that he intended to kill her. The suspect ran to his first-floor apartment at the complex where investigators spotted him from outside. Eventually, deputies got him and he confessed to shooting Owens, but claimed it was in self-defense and that he did not mean to shoot her mother. Nearby residents tell News 6 the violence is unsettling.
There's so many angry people in it, and innocent people are paying the consequences, which is not supposed to be. That's not the way of life.
Thank you, Treasure. Both women involved were rushed to the hospital where they later died. The 2 children at the scene, thankfully, were not injured. In more news, a South Florida Jewish woman is sounding the alarm after finding anti-Semitic flyers in her driveway. Earlier this month, suspects used a projector to display swastika symbols over a building in West Palm Beach. Soji Nam reports.
This is so horrible that this is going on in the world.
Tina Podhurst couldn't believe it when she found anti-Semitic flyers in her driveway and more scattered throughout her neighborhood.
Growing up in the South, I've had things said to me. I've been saluted.
She tells us she's been a victim of hate speech, but nothing like this before.
I'm scared to leave my house now.
The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office said they received similar pamphlets over the weekend.
Doesn't matter if we make up some of the cabinet or we make up some of, what does it say, Biden's administration? So what?
This is despicable and it's cowardly.
Officials say no charges will be filed, however, due to freedom of speech.
Even hate speech gets constitutional protection. Now, if the hate is accompanied by a crime like assault, battery, then we can use our anti-hate crime law to charge the crime and then enhance the penalty. But there is no separate hate crime law in Florida.
Because of this, leaders from Palm Beach County and the community will meet tomorrow and hold a roundtable to discuss the problem.
Legislators can go back to Tallahassee and hopefully look at the laws about broadcasting messages on private buildings without the owner's consent. Perhaps they can make that a crime. It's not a crime right now. Perhaps they can give local governments more power to enforce these anti-littering laws, to really hit these folks in the pocketbook. Make them pick up trash on highways too.
Thank you, Soji. The Palm Beach County Roundtable discussion Tuesday night will not be open to the public. Coming up on the SNN Evening Edition, Fort Lauderdale areas hit by flooding are now facing gas shortages. Find out more details right here after the break.